Hey, I'm Captain Chris Baldwin with Bear Knot Fishing in Ketchikan, Alaska. We're out here mooching for salmon, and yeah, we're in a pretty good bite right now. We're catching them pretty quick, and just having a lot of fun. Yeah, so we just got a nice king. In the excitement, we didn't get it on tape, but yeah, they're out here. Oh, there we go. Yep. So you see the head shake, you see the rod shaking like that. That's very distinctive of salmon. Go up. So there we go. There we go. Oop. Is that a hoe? Oh. Yep. Looks like we got a. All right. So reel down to that weight. So your job as a fisherman, reel to that weight and lift that rod tip up. Bring that fish right to me. There we go. There's a nice silver. Oh, looks like we. All right. So my main concern is getting everything out of the net as quick as possible because we have a double over here. All right, but if you see, we got the hook in the net. Gotta tell you, if you can come up with a hookless net that keeps the hooks out of this, you're gonna be a rich person if you can come up with an invention like that. All right, here we go, that's a nice one. So reel down to that weight, lift that rod up, lift that tip up. There we go. There's a nice coho.
Dude, killing it.
There are three main ways of fishing for salmon. There's trolling, there's mooching, and there's jigging. Trolling is really good for covering ground. So if the salmon are spread out or you're not quite sure where they're gonna be, trolling is a great way because you just cover a lot of ground. Mooching, you cover a lot less ground. The boat is moving a little bit, you're drifting, but you cover a lot less than half the ground, but you cover it a lot better. You have up to 4 lures working at different depths, at different speeds, and you go slower. It's just a better way of covering less ground. If there's a point where the salmon are holding and you know exactly where they are, jigging can be the most effective, where you could just park the boat directly over them, drop the metal jigs down and jig, and the boat's not moving at all. So if you know where they are, you could just park on top of them and catch them. So it all depends on the situation, and these are kind of tools, you know, so it's best to be good at everything. So mooching is my favorite way of fishing for salmon. It's very hands-on. Each customer is holding a rod, and you're gonna have a 4-ounce weight attached to the end of it, and weight's gonna have a long leader with 2 hooks. At the end of that leader, you're gonna have a cut plug herring. So you have the weight, and that cut plug herring is just gonna spin behind the weight. The boat's gonna be slowly drifting, and you're gonna drop that lure down, and then you're just gonna reel it in. And the entire time, it is just either going down or coming up. So as it's coming down, that bait is helicoptering, and the salmon will bite it on the way down just as much as they will on the way up. But that is a beautiful cut plug. And if you're a fisherman here, that is a beautiful thing. All right, so now it's ready to go. All right, when she lets it out, she's gonna wanna put the lure in first, or the plug, and make sure everything's nice and straight, and then drop it down. And that's really gonna minimize tangles. So as it's going down, that cut plug is actually fishing, and we get about half the fish we catch on the way down. So as it's dropping, you're always feeling that if something's gonna be playing with it or biting it. See how she has her finger on the spool? That is very important. If you remove your finger, see how, see, this is gonna get backlash, and that's what we want to avoid. So she's gonna lightly keep her thumb on the spool, and that's gonna keep everything nice and straight. If it does get backlash, you just let it out, and if it actually becomes a knot where it can't go, let the captain know and he'll come fix it for you. All right, so yeah, you wanna keep the line at a 45-degree angle, or else you're gonna get tangles like this. So what happens as it's dropping down, that cut plug comes up and makes contact with the main line. As it's lowering it does it, and it just wraps it all up. You mind holding that rod for me? And so to get these out, it's pretty easy. You just pull and let it go. There you go. I always check the leaders. We're catching kings out here, so you always want to be checking the leaders, make sure there's no nicks or burrs. See, this one's pretty twisted up. I think I'm going to replace it. And I've done a whole video on the cut plug and how to do it. So to check that out, go to exclusivealaska.com. All right, good job, Lindsay. Looks like we have a salmon coming up. So you just want to keep constant pressure on it and just keep reeling. If it starts pulling line out, you're just going to let it go. If it feels slack, you're just going to reel as quickly as you can because that fish might be charging the boat. So just keep going, doing what you're doing. All right, so netting is a 2-person job, okay? So I'm gonna be standing here with the net. When it's time to go, that red weight's gonna come up. You're gonna reel it right to the tip and then try to lead that fish right into the net. All right, so you see the weight? That's why I use the orange weights, because you could see it coming and you can be ready for it. Now you're on, keep reeling. All right, walk it back, lift that rod up. There we go. That's it. So when you net in a salmon, you scoop it with the bag, and this kind of locks the net out. So if you see me, let me get the fish out. There we go. When I go to net, I'm gonna hold the basket like this, and as I scoop, I drop the basket, you scoop the fish, and this locks it, and the fish is gonna be in there, and it's not gonna be able to get out. There's a beautiful silver. The hook's out. Lindsay, look at this. Great job. It's a beautiful coho.
Nice.
Yep, these are the wolves of the ocean. These are incredibly aggressive fish, and when you get into them, they are just a blast. So I hope you learned something about mooching for salmon. For more videos like this, or to book a fishing trip, check us out at exclusivealaska.com.